so I don't know if you want to say a few words. Thank you for all your help.
I'm basically just an attorney. I specialize in actually litigation against associations. I actually became involved because I purchased a condo at the Madison Downtown Condominium, which was managed by Florida's Property Management, which later became Sunshine Management. Most people are aware of Sunshine Management, and I had all sorts of problems at my condos. Things weren't getting fixed. Money seemed to be just disappearing. Repair bills were like 3 times the price I would expect them to be. We had a receiver. The receiver seemed to be fixing every unit that went into receivership, but when we later became on the board, we went into all those units and determined nothing was fixed in the units. So we actually engaged in litigation against the receiver after we became on the board. We fought them for approximately 2 years, and we learned everything was stacked against us. We did multiple recalls with them just arguing, oh, the signature is forged, it doesn't look right, that person can't vote. And they would play all these games to invalidate the recall. And their goal was always just delay it until the next election, then contend the recall's moot because we had another election. But what would occur at the election is they would come in with duplicate votes. So the last election before the board all resigned, basically they showed up with 80 duplicate votes. We actually brought in, we went door to door, collected everyone's ballot and carried them in. Florida Property Management came in the door with a stack of envelopes, and it was all duplicates. And so at our election, we had people yelling and screaming, "That's not my vote," pointing at the one Florida's Property Management brought in, and saying, "That's my vote," pointing at the one we brought in. But even with all those gimmicks, they could not win the election. So the lawyer stepped outside, printed a list, came back in, and then suspended at least another 50 votes for failure to pay assessments. So they decided, oh, these are delinquent, so they can't vote, we'll throw out another 50 votes.
Wow. Yeah. But this is the thing, like I was telling everybody, you have to file a complaint in the Florida bar because the attorney is supposed to know the law and supposed to respect it and abide by it. The attorney that was representing my association just got disbarred, and it came in the Herald last week because he was using money that he won from like lawsuits, like in the trust fund. He took the money. He did the same thing with us. Like somebody, it's a lady paid, you know, he was supposed to put the money and like give it back. He took it. So, but if people don't complain, if people don't, you know, file the complaints, like it's understandable that, you know, it's frustrating. You're like, how long, you know, is it gonna take? Well, it's gonna take longer if you don't file a complaint. You know, so the most important thing is to file a complaint, and then you have, you know, some merit in saying, okay, you know, I did my homework. This is the complaint, and nothing happened. So on top of that, you know, the fact that, you know, attorneys are also very busy, you have to be on top of your case because the attorney is not gonna know it, you know, as good as you know. And sometimes, you know, communication, like that happened to me when I was suing the association. You know, like, yeah, my attorney was great and we won the case, but along the way I would realize, oh, you know, this or that, you know, he forgot to this point or the other one. And that's what people think, like just because you pay somebody, be it a property management company, a CPA, an attorney, anybody, doesn't guarantee you anything. You know, you have to stay on top of your business because it's your business. So, you know, going back to the point that he was making, like you can't give up. Like he's here today. The fact that he's here today, the fact that we're still here today, you know, is the fact that we don't plan to give up. We don't plan to go anywhere. because the abuse continues. They were just telling us, ¿cómo se llama Miravillas, that Sunshine is still there.
Exactly.
And they just had elections, and then
Tuesday.
on Tuesday, and then one of the persons says, I didn't vote for that person, so they falsified their vote. So even today, we still have, these falsifications, and they're like, it's ridiculous,
And there was so many people, in the condo. No, I never voted, but I saw
Your ballot,
the
yeah.
ballot. It's over there.
Yeah, exactly.
And she
So-
helped that lady.
Exactly.
She helped that lady to become the voice. The
Yeah.
voice.
And then the person that was that's another thing, like with DBPR, we need more people, like owners like ourselves, to do the courses. Like you could be an election monitor. You just get certified, because all the election monitors that we have right now, they either come from property management industry or they come from the law firms. Like the one,
He has some comments.
yeah.
Yeah, probably about, I'd say maybe 3 years ago, I reached out to DBPR and I asked, how do you become an election monitor? I thought I would be a good election monitor, seeing I don't represent associations, I don't represent property management companies. I had, my own experience with election impropriety. And basically, I tried to figure out how to become an election monitor, and they said, we'll let you know.
What?
And then I never heard from them again.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't actually, unless it's changed, I don't think there's a procedure in place
Wow.
for someone to become an election
Well,
monitor.
we have to try it out. We have to try it out. Like, condo owners that are watching this, go online to DBPR's My Florida license and start doing the courses to become election monitors, or to be, there's other things that they could do. You could do the courses too, because the courses are normally offered, by the law firms that, I was telling Dan from Cyber Citizens for Justice, he's like, I don't even read what the attorneys write, because they twist the wording so much that you don't even know what's going on. So that's the thing, that, the people that are in the know always seem to be the other side, not the condo owners. Like, we are unaware of, what's the big picture of what's going on in Tallahassee. So I think we need more condo owners to get, involved with DBPR. They're gonna have, I saw the schedule on the DBPR website about the courses and things like that. Those are opportunities for us to go and, ask Lázaro, how do we become an election monitor? How do we become board certification person or whatever? But we have to, go into these government.
What I'd also say is that there needs to be a push to get election monitors with real authority. What I see is just paid vote counters. What we truly need in Florida is an election monitor that handles all aspects of election. Sends out the notices.
Oh, that's great. That's a great idea.
Sends out the
That's a
notices
great idea.
based on the,
Independent, that has
Independent.
nothing to do with the property management company, nothing to do with the attorney.
Because-
That's something big. that we
because
need to
a
push.
lot of the things I'm seeing
Yeah.
is that people do not receive ballots. People do not receive notices of election. People submit an intent to run and it's magically late. But people who submitted it after the deadline are not late. We truly need an independent election monitor that handles all aspects. From the second notice to the ballots, every single aspect of that election has to be independent from the board, the management company, and the association's attorney. Because without that, you cannot control these fraudulent ballots. You just cannot, because if they hold the ballots, they know who voted, so they know who they falsified.
Yeah, who's out of state, who doesn't live out of the country, et cetera, et cetera.